should be able to, because you record to the local file, don't you?
Oh, we're doing it. Oh, no, it's shut again.
Yeah, because it
Yeah,
says,
it's recording.
all right?
I'm recording it twice, I think.
Yeah, all right. Well,
Something.
you only need to upload one, don't you? So
That's right.
So going back to what we were saying, that was something I just emailed Max about, because I know Max had that problem. But if anybody else wants to try and do that, just let me know.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Did Max get sorted out with that?
Well, I think so. I think what my problem was, soon after I opened up YouTube, I was trying to get into the BBC channel before I did anything.
Oh, right.
And Colin's suggesting that I should go into the YouTube, do what I got to do, and then it will offer me BBC or mine. So I got to rethink how I do it, the timing of it, if you like. So I'll give that a go tomorrow.
It's not a big issue, Max, because as long as you've got the YouTube link,
yeah,
it doesn't matter which channel it's on, really. But
no,
well, the only thing is, it's on my channel, but I can't get anybody to see it because it won't. Although it gives me the link code, it doesn't work for me or anybody else. Yeah, I can call it up and look at it anytime I like.
You have to put it in the chat box.
Yeah, that's another thing that I did put that in later in the chat box, but I still got this confusion with the BBC. I was under the BBC heading or something. So I think I've got it a little bit confused. So I'm going to have another go tomorrow.
All right.
Dave, while we're talking,
yep.
Thinking about a tech talk later on, have you had any special trials and tribulations that you'd like to tell us about by using a new computer? Has it give you any thoughts and experiences you'd like to share?
Well, the computer's all right. It's just that I couldn't find the stuff on Windows 10. But I went on to YouTube.
Yeah.
The tutorials on there about Windows 10. So I did that.
Yeah.
So I can get my way sort of around it.
Yeah, there's other things like, were you able to purchase all your software, or are they like they were saying if you wanted Office now, you got to rent it rather than purchase it? Is that true? Are you using Office or Word?
No, there's another one which is different to that, but it all works the same.
Yeah.
Office 365 now. Office 365 now, or something like that.
Something like that. There's one on there called Office, what they put on. So you still can do it. It's not a...
Yeah.
The Pinnacle 16 I couldn't load on.
Yeah. Did it tell you why?
It did say something, but I forget what it said, but it wouldn't.
Probably says it's the Pinnacle 16 is not upgraded enough to be able to handle the full Windows 10 in all its glory.
Evening.
Hello.
Hiya.
So I went into I purchased 24.
24?
Yeah. 14.
Yeah.
14, sorry.
Oh.
No, 24.
No, 24.
Yeah, the new one.
The latest, yeah.
Yeah.
And when are you using a Sony camera at all?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen 2 reports to say that it won't accept AVC HD as a signal, but I think I have a feeling it does. But 2 reports say it doesn't do it, and you have to convert AVC HD before it'll accept it. Anyway, don't talk about it now. Another time, when you've had a chance to sort of do things, you'll be able to give us a little report on what it what it might not do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Dave. Thanks very much.
But it'll do most things, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
No Barry so far.
No.
So I was hoping perhaps we'd. Well, I thought. Well, I'm surprised Jim hadn't arrived yet until now.
Jim's here. Jim's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I seem to have arrived twice.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
Is that your twin, Dave?
Well, yeah, I've got. Oh, you can't see with that one, can you? Oh, it's very confusing. We've got two computers going, isn't it?
You've got a doppelganger.
I can't get that round. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, my monitor was running ever so slow. Takes 10 minutes for it to warm up. We should it? So anyway, a couple of weeks ago, my daughter said to me, "We've got a monitor." So I've
That's not on your new computer.
Sorry?
That's not on your new computer, is it?
Yeah, but I didn't get a monitor with it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So the monitor takes a long while to warm up. So I'd already given my spare one to my daughter 2 weeks ago, and I thought, I've got a television up in the loft. So I brought the television down, took the stand off of it. So I've now got a 29-inch screen. I can put the AVG, is it? Lead in it. The lead that comes out of the computer into the monitor.
Yeah.
It's in the side. And I'll change it to PC, and I've got a 29-inch screen now.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Very, very good. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. So
has anybody got any news at all?
No, not today.
No.
No news today.
Right.
news. What news?
No, I've been trying to avoid looking at Megan.
Yes, I agree with you there. I think it's a bit fed up with all that, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I?
I think everybody is.
I don't think she's doing herself any favours.
No.
You can't have your cake and eat.
Performance.
No, it's
So
true.
looking at her performance, I reckon she'd get an Oscar.
Oh,
I've got a bit of news. Yeah, yes. I don't know if I mentioned to anybody, I think I did last week, about this here thing.
yeah, your slide thing, yeah.
Yes, because
But that was the committee meeting, wasn't it? So
Yeah, oh yes, it was at the committee meeting, Colin, yeah.
yeah, so I've done my slides, put them on the computer,
Oh, well done.
and I thought, I'm sure I've got some more. So I went up in the loft, and there in the corner is a slide projector, 2 handheld things that you can put the slides in,
Yeah.
and about 4 million slides,
you're busy for a while, Dave.
which
That'll keep you busy.
yeah, so I thought to myself, now what should I do? Shall I come clean and say I found them, or should I just bin them? So I did come clean and say I found them. So now I've got to put all those on a disc.
Yeah. Have you had any thoughts about how you're going to log them, either year by year or, year by year, and then underneath the year, the date or the month where you took them?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think I just put them on a disc. I mean,
Well, if you,
my wedding,
I went back into mine, going back to about 1950 onwards, old Kodachromes.
yeah,
And I found it very helpful to put in year by year,
well, I can't-
because it does help you remember sometimes where they were. And because if you look on it depends on your colour slide, but they've often got a month and a year date stamped on the edge of the slide.
oh, well, if they've got that, I'll be all right. But apart from-
Yeah. So once you get a system going, it starts to fall into place, and you start remembering more and more about them.
Where do you get the time? I don't seem to have the time to do all that.
Time, I'm too busy.
I just don't.
You're not doing the extra night shift, Pam. That's what it is.
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. And by the time it's time for my bedtime, I'm so tired. I think, oh God,
Yeah, you don't want to make a mistake and wipe it all.
no, definitely not.
Yeah. And the other thing, Dave,
Yeah.
when you're saving them, are you saving them under JPEG?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just putting the card
Well,
in.
when you go back to see what you've copied,
Yeah.
if you hover your mouse over the copied slide, it should tell you what system it's using, I think.
All right. So
And
JPEG?
if you use something like RAW or one or two of the others, you get the full strength of the quality, and you can copy the thing time and time again. If you use JPEG, you save an awful lot of computer memory, but never use the JPEG master, because every time you go into JPEG, if you edit it, you degrade the quality. So if you edit it 4 times, just like the old VHS, it becomes unlookable if you edit it too many times. So all my copied slides, I regard them as masters. And if I do anything at all, I make a copy first and then fiddle with it afterwards.
Yeah, good idea.
Always fiddle with a copy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll perform with that lot.
Yeah. Good luck. Yeah.
I think I should have put them in the bin, really.
No, you'll find there's a lot of memories in there.
Yeah.
Quite a few of them. And my father's, when they passed on, we found slides, so I've got a load of those. So I might even see myself as a baby in the bath, mightn't I?
You could easily. Oh, all these hidden gems.
So if I find it, I'll show you next week.
Revelations.
Or I could be laying in front of the fire, couldn't I, on a rug? Is that what they do?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Got to be lamb's wool, Dave.
Yeah.
There you go.
I had an email from the Media Production and Technology Show. I'll show you the. I'll find it. I'll have to bring it up again, I think. Bear with me a minute. Make that smaller. This is something it's a show I went up 2 years ago, and I got on their register. I think because I was at university, I probably got into it. But it's quite interesting. And they had an interview with Gordon Buchanan. He was the cameraman who on a lot of the animal shows.
Animals. He does animals, doesn't he?
I thought I might try and play it for you if you're interested. Let me I just need to go put it back. I had it ready, then obviously I've closed it somehow. Just put it up. Almost there. Should do it. And go back to Zoom. Share screen again. Should have it. Okay, this was part of their thing. The actual show is on Olympia in May. That's if it runs. If they're allowed to run it. But this was a virtual festival they had. There's a lot of different well, you can see it's done by Zoom again. A lot of different things about screenwriting, Strictly Come Dancing, the motion graphics on that, Canon Technologies. So it's really a business exhibition, basically, for the television and media. But what I did was I enjoyed watching this. Now, I don't know if it's going to run very well because it's going through Zoom again. Let me know if it's not very good. I need to play it. she talks for a bit. Let me just bring it to when Gordon comes on. Right there.
Here's a quick video showcasing Gordon's passion for wildlife filmmaking and conservation. Play the video, please.
Just one image would prove they live up here and could help secure their future. Gordon's camera traps are the team's last hope.
Oh, look at this bear. Oh, sniffing the camera. The camera traps aren't always invisible. He's a really healthy specimen as well. You have to be living up here. It's going to get cold. You're going to have to work hard. It's only this strong to survive. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh, I don't believe it. Oh God. Oh. Thank you. Oh gosh. Okay, they're here. There's only one tiger, but the fact that they can live here is just so important, not just for this one individual, for tigers in the wild for the future. Is just, oh man, just walked along this path, literally down this path. He was just passing through this area. He would have gone through, but what he's doing is scent marking quite high up on the rock, and what he's saying is, this is my place, this is where I live. Finding tigers here is phenomenal, because what it does, it just shows that almost every square mile from here down to India is potential tiger habitat.
That was about 10 years ago, I think they...
I was going to say, he looked young there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Such a powerful clip, and I would really like it if you could give a big virtual round of applause as we welcome Gordon to our screen. Morning, Gordon.
Morning, how you doing?
Oh, good, thanks. How are you?
Good, good. In that clip, I had the lockdown here kind of way ahead of time.
Busting the curls. So, obviously, we can all see from all of your programs your passion for conservation, animals, wildlife. The C word, COVID, has had an enormous impact on everybody in so many different ways, and in production, no more so. But as studios can get back together in a COVID-safe environment, obviously natural history filmmakers like yourself have been very much grounded.
Yeah.
So COVID, what impact has that had on you both personally and for any projects you had in the pipeline?
Yeah, it's interesting. From my perspective, because my work largely relies on me traveling around the world, I kind of, I didn't anticipate sort of, at the very start with COVID, I thought, well, surely I'm not going to be stopped in my tracks. But we were, I was literally, early March last year, and it was the night before I was going to Australia for a month. And things were kind of escalating. And then I got a call about sort of nearly midnight from the series producer, said, don't leave, we're pausing the trip. And I thought at that point, okay, well, they'll probably review that in the next couple of days, and then I'll be off to Australia. But pretty much, and then within a week to 10 days, full lockdown, and one by one, all of those jobs that I had on last year just kind of disappeared overnight. And I suppose that's the thing with wildlife filmmaking. It's by and large, most of it is working in foreign locations, and if you can't travel, you can't work. For one project, it wasn't such a big problem because we thought we could just push all the trips to the end of the year. But for other projects, like I was working in South Africa, and we couldn't get back there, so it was kind of just. Initially, I thought I'm just going to make the best of a bad situation, and one thing that I have a shortage of is this time at home. So, you know, for the first half of last year, it was, you know, for me personally, it was actually, you know, it was an opportunity to do all the things at home and spend time with my family that I wouldn't ordinarily have, and then just kind of see how things panned out.
Have you had enough of that now?
I think my wife's had enough of that now. I kind of attacked last year kind of in a really kind of positive way and thinking, okay, I don't know how long I'm going to be at home for. So there's lots of work. We moved house a couple of years ago, so, you know, like lots of people, just doing lots of, you know, a load of work on the house. I was getting, you know, going out and walking and stuff, just actually having, as I said, making the best of a bad situation. And even I had enough work that did come through the year, so there was always something on the horizon, but there really was kind of, I suppose, just the last couple of months has been really tough because there was further cancellations of work, and then I suddenly was looking at another year of mass upheaval, and I'd run out of DIY jobs. I got bored.
And have most of the projects been scheduled or shelved, doing the impact on that side of things?
I think I'm right in saying the cheetah project that we did was one of the only, certainly one of the only wildlife documentaries that was made by the BBC that was delivered on time. We had the shoot was massively restricted, or the ability to get out there. But there's another series that I was working on called Animals with Cameras, which we did a series 3 years ago, and we got another commission to do another 4 programs. And we just, with that series, it kind of basically had to get shrunk down to 2 programs, and even with that, my involvement in them is kind of going to be sort of pretty minimal, which is a real shame because there was some amazing stories all around the world. A huge amount of work that had gone into pre-planning this particular series because there was bespoke cameras that were built to be put on animals, and as sort of, you know, one animal kind of was no longer an option, the production team had to then find another animal, then have the cameras designed, and then that country would then close down. So it was, I suppose, the worst project or worst natural history project for COVID year, because you're having to kind of constantly just work within all these moving parameters.
But you did manage to get away towards the end of last year to Australia. We were seeing some nice pictures on your Instagram of when you were out there. So in terms of the project, can you share with us some of the differences in pre-planning, impact, your timings, other issues? I mean, obviously Australia have been really closed their doors from pretty much day one.
Yeah.
So how did this all transpire and come together?
With the Australia trip, the producer had actually left a couple of days ahead of me. So this is back in March. So she had got into Australia before the quarantine came into force, and I think literally 24 hours before I was. And then they said, well, you can go out, but you'd have to quarantine for 2 weeks because you just missed that window. She in fact ended up staying out in Australia, and one of the programs, it was just supposed to be a couple of species we're filming out there, but one of the programs, she just stayed out in Australia and did as much as she could. And then the plan was to try and get me out to Australia at some point through the year, but because of how tightly clamped down they were, it was jumping through hoops and mostly failing at the end, and you had to basically get an exemption from the government to go out. And I think on the 3rd application, we got a letter from the local authorities and from the scientists to say that the work that we were doing was important for the conservation of these animals. So I did eventually manage to get out there. But as I said, with Animals with Cameras, so it's working with scientists and putting bespoke cameras on a whole variety of different animals. So what you need to come in, you need the animal behaviour to sort of be in line with the scientist availability and my availability as the presenter of the host of the show. And just with all of the different locations, it was a nightmare in the best of times, just trying to line all 3 things up. But when you actually throw throw into the mix, just not being able to travel to those countries. It was a real headache. So it was it felt a bit of a miracle in December to get out to Australia. And by that point, I knew I was going to have to spend the full 2 weeks in isolation and quarantine in a hotel. But it was like, well, if that's what we need to do, that's what we've got to do.
And what sort of percentage-wise budget impact does that have on the production? If your producer was out there from March, obviously it's additional homestay costs, you quarantining, the crew. Did you use local crew or?
We did. We used local crew in Australia, so there was a lot of money for this particular project. A lot of money that was wasted. Not wasted. It was spent designing cameras. So that's like a sort of minimum of 6 weeks lead-in time to design these cameras from scratch to fit on a bat, or fit on a kangaroo, or fit on a pangolin, and what would happen if that particular country closed down? They'd have to start again. So there's a huge amount of sort of overrun and expenditure on designing the cameras, and then with quarantine period and having to pay people for that time, it obviously had implications, and that's why the BBC kind of eventually got to the position and said, okay, let's just shrink it down from 4 programs down to 2. And I'm not quite sure, but I think probably spent the budget of 4 programs just to make 2, which is really frustrating, because you've got everybody working on the production has envisaged that thing. At the moment that it's actually commissioned and you've got that approval, you start sort of thinking, okay, what's this finished product going to look like? So with all of these shifting sands across the year, you're seeing them being eroded, and it will be an amazing couple of programs, because the whole team's been working really, really hard, but it's not what it should be, sadly.
And when can we expect to see that?
It'll all be done, I think, within the next couple of months. So yeah, it'll be on the kind of one of the few new programs on the shelves of the BBC. So I'm not quite sure when they're going to put it out. Maybe in the sort of middle of the year.
I think we're all desperate to see something new on our screens. I think everybody's finished Netflix and BBC iPlayer by now.
Yeah.
Just returning to the cheetah family that you mentioned previously, as per usual, you get up very close and personal with all of these animals that you film. Just wondered, thinking about technology, talking about building cameras, etc. I mean, you're filming the world's fastest land animal. How do you prepare for something like that in terms of your tech checklist?
Yeah. Well, there's kind of no getting away from the fact that with most natural history shoots, you need a big long lens. So the kind of the CN20 is the sort of standard wildlife filming lens these days. Camera wise, I just opted for the Mira for that shoot. Because it's what I'm most used to. It's kind of rugged. I'm not very good at remembering all of the different settings of all the various cameras that I might use, whereas the Mira is kind of the camera that I've used the most in recent years. And at the end of the day, when you've got a massive, big, heavy lens, having a fairly heavy camera on the back of it doesn't kind of make much difference. But I knew that with the cheetahs that I was going to be doing lots of walking, probably not that much running that was going to be worth anything when you're following a cheetah. So I just knew there was going to be hours and hours and miles of following these animals. So with the whole setup, with the satchel tripod and the CN20 and the Mira, it was 33 kilos. And then you got a backpack with kind of extra batteries and water and stuff. So I was humping, maybe about just short of 40 kilos about on my back and shoulders. But that said, when you're following an animal like a cheetah, you're so engaged in it, and especially when you get so close, or as close as we did, the weight of carrying those cameras about I wasn't aware of it until we had to do some shots with the direct stick. You just do a shot of you walking through the landscape carrying the camera. I was like, what for? There's no, the reward is getting the images of the cheetahs, not just kind of walking to a tree and turn around and come back.
So we can all feel sorry for you. It looks terribly hard work, Gordon.
Yeah, well, I think anyone that sort of probably saw the program and saw how close I was to those cheetahs would be sort of green with envy, because it's an amazing experience to spend time so close to animals like that. So if, yeah, a little bit of suffering is only just, I think.
I mean, how close is that? I mean, it's sometimes hard to tell when you're watching. Meters wise, how close do you think you got?
Yeah, to begin with, I mean, it started off quite cautiously just because this female had never been followed on foot before. She was well used to people in vehicles, but she hadn't been pursued in that way, and we didn't want to change her behaviour. So initially, I just kind of got to a point where I could see her and she could see me, and just sort of assess how she was feeling about that. And I suppose for cheetahs, they're kind of so focused on, especially cheetahs with cubs, focused on their next meal. As soon as they realise that I'm not a threat and I'm not interfering sort of with their kind of routine, they just get on with it. So I would sort of 10 meters for the first sort of few days was sort of a comfortable distance, but when I got back out in October, she was, you could easily get within 2 or 3 meters of her, and she was fine, which sort of, and it sometimes with a big CN20, it's too close. The cheetahs came so close, it was beyond the sort of minimum focusing distance. I had to put there's quite a few iPhone shots in that program, so I just whipped out my phone and started filming.
Wow. And thinking about kit and the weather conditions, terrains that you're working in, I know you mentioned the Amira. Do you have a typical set kit that you take to different terrains? How do you plan for that?
Yeah.
Bears versus cheetahs, if you polar bears.
I think the only kind of big considerations of, so familiarity with the camera is my kind of big thing. I just like using a camera that I know, and especially something I like a good rugged camera. It's because on some occasions you might be schlepping through kind of tangled jungle, and if your camera's kind of a bit too plasticky, things can snag and drop off. But I suppose big considerations for certain projects is sort of light levels, and if you're working sort of very early in the morning or kind of end of day, what we've been finding is sort of the A7S is a good little backup camera, just so when if it's too dark to film on the big camera, you can switch to the A7S, which is they're amazing cameras, like phenomenal. What they can do at low light.
I mean, while we're on tech, we've had an audience question saying, how much power do you carry with you to power that camera on an average day shoot, and how many crew are with you?
I kind of, because with the wildlife side of stuff, I don't keep rolling the camera unless there's something interesting happening, because I've got this kind of I think that footage has to be stored somewhere, and it kind of, I suppose the miserly Scot in me thinks, well, that's going to cost somebody money to store, that 30 minutes of or even 30 seconds of a cheetah doing nothing. So I kind of just, and it's because I started on film, and you had to be very aware of when you ran the camera. So I just kind of just never fill a card up in a sort of morning. I don't think I've ever filled a whole card up. And normally I'll always try and get good quality new batteries, because obviously you can carry a couple of batteries and that'll do you for a whole sort of half a day session. But if they're kind of old and been around a bit, you might have to carry sort of five or six of them. But I sort of power the camera down and sort of just try and conserve power, conserve storage, because you never know when you're going to need it. Something might happen, and then if you're out there, it's sort of, you don't want to find you've only got 30 seconds left on a car, or you're kind of out of batteries. But that's kind of, you learn that through the hard way of actually running out of batteries and running out of film.
Have you ever missed something. You know, I imagine by the time you've got lens, camera on, etc., and what you were looking for has disappeared, or have you become so quick now that you can literally get it all together?
I realised very early on when I sort of started filming, you know, after I was an assistant, then I became a cameraman and was filming full time. I kind of realised that you generally miss, you know, not a lot, but you miss maybe 1/3 of the really interesting stuff, because you might be in a vehicle and you're not set up for a kind of vehicle setup, and something just happens very, very quickly, or you know, even something changing a battery, like Sod's Law, like the moment that you have to change a battery, that's when something will happen. So yeah, generally, if I know that I'm not in a position to film, I will kind of like put my blinkers on and not even look in. So if the battery needs changed, I'll turn my back on the animal, because if I don't see it, it hasn't happened. But yeah, it kind of it's not as frustrating as it used to be, because I think as I just learned through experience that kind of happens. There's going to be times, especially if you're walking about carrying a camera. So with the cheetahs, I had the camera set up, switched on most of the time when the cheetah was moving, so that it was just plonk it down. If I had time to level it, and then start filming. But if you're walking for longer distances, and you've got a camera in a backpack and you're carrying a tripod, you're talking about 2 minutes minimum to get the camera, everything off, set up. So that is really frustrating, because you could be the whole time. I mean, I remember walking through the forest and bumping into this big chimpanzee, and it sat down and was just sort of pulled off a long stick and then started sort of fishing for termites. And I'm just watching this happen. I'm very slowly taking off my backpack, and I couldn't move quickly to get the camera out. And like knowing full well that the moment the camera was up to speed, it was just going to bugger off. And sure enough, sort of hit record and then just disappeared off the path. But yeah, it goes with the territory. But you kind of need to be as ready as you can be at any time.
I mean, technology has changed considerably in the last 10 to 15 years. And what things have revolutionised your job, and helped you? And what else do you need? What would you like people to invent?
I'd like people to invent a much lighter camera. That would be nice, because it does, especially if you're walking for long distances, it is tough and you're getting tired, especially if you're walking through rainforests for 8 hours just carrying stuff. So that would be nice. Lighter cameras, but with the same sort of, the focal length of something like the CN20 is pretty amazing. On the most basic sort of tech sort of revolution for me has been pre-roll's been around for ages, but having pre-roll on a camera that you could just have it on an 8-second or 12-second sort of loop for wild animals is amazing, because in the past, shooting on film, you think, okay, I think it's that bird's about to fly or that animal's about to get up, so you just keep on running and costing hundreds of pounds over every few days just on shots that you're never going to use. But with pre-roll, you wait for lock the camera off and just sort of keep an eye on it, and then even if you're sort of 5 seconds too late, you hit the button and you've recorded that. But with camera traps is another thing. The camera trap technology was sort of kind of got a bit sort of stagnated for a while, and we've been using camera traps for those Lost Land series for quite a long time, and they hadn't really ever moved on. And especially as camera technology moved on in people's phones and with DSLRs, camera traps they were awful. But now there's a new generation of camera traps that are really good, sort of high quality and much clearer. Low light filming, things like the A7S that you can film in conditions where in the past you'd have needed an infrared camera and infrared lights. So yeah, that's something that's opened up the kind of nighttime world in a really big way. And drone technology is something that's really kind of been amazing for every production, because, you know, not that long ago, maybe kind of within the last 10 years, if you had the money for Cineflex and helicopter time, you could make your production look really glossy, and that was kind of separated sort of the men from the boys when it came to sort of, you know, the caliber of programs. So there's some of the programs that we worked on that just didn't have the budget for a helicopter. You're talking tens of thousands of pounds. With drones for, you know, 1,500 quid, you can have a little Mavic flying about, getting these amazing shots, and just keep on shooting, and it doesn't cost, you know, hardly anything. So there's a lot more gloss to even low budget programs. And you see some of the sort of self-funded little films that people are making, or wildlife films that I see that people send me. The production values are sort of through the roof, because people are using sort of, you know, affordable gimbals, people are using drones, people are using top quality cameras. So, you know, for anyone starting out in wildlife filmmaking, you know, for, you know, relatively little or comparatively little money, you can make, you know, a really impressive film.
Do you have your drone's pilot license?
I do, yeah, but I just found out yesterday that it's expired. I didn't realise it did expire, but yeah, I do have that.
Do you take one out on shoots when you
from a lot of the projects that I'm involved in, will have somebody, because they're mostly kind of filming me in that environment. But yeah, that's something that I'll always take with me. If you're allowed to use them in the area that, you know, that we're working, even just for doing these kind of time lapses. So, you know, being able to kind of fire a drone up and get a sunset time lapse at kind of, you know, 100 meters up. It just opens up another sort of dimension to wherever you are. And, you know, for a lot of places, we were doing the elephant series a few years ago, and the elephants were amazing, but the habitat that they lived in wasn't that impressive. It was really flat and scrubby. There were some kind of rocky outcrops, but on the ground, you really could, you know, it didn't look that impressive. But with a drone, suddenly it gave you that kind of a whole new dimension, and just kind of, I suppose, better conveys that area, because you are so, you know, you're limited just having a camera on a tripod. It just feels so outdated now. I did something not that long ago when we weren't allowed drones, and I was having to do like a pan across a landscape, and I felt that I'd gone back to the 80s. It's like, we don't use pans across the landscape, but that's all
you're allowed. We've got loads of questions coming in for you, as I thought we might do. So I'll just go to a couple of those. Going forward, how do you expect the changes this past year has brought to affect natural history filmmaking going forward? Now, we have got a natural history panel at midday today talking about the impact of COVID on the industry as a whole, the good and the bad. So what would be your takeouts from that?
I mean, this is a good time for any kind of young camera person that's making that transition into sort of being a fully fledged cameraman. Look, I kind of basically got my wings back in the 90s, because there was a boom time back then when there was lots of stuff being made. All of the established camera people were busy. So sort of interlopers like me managed to kind of sort of sneak in at the bottom. And it seems at the moment there's just, you know, basically not much happening for the past year. So there's a bit of a kind of gold rush, it seems, you know, of productions looking for you know, camera people. Because I've had lots of phone calls in the last sort of month of people looking just for me to do camera work. There seems to be there is a lot going on, and you've got sort of the SVODs, you know, producing natural history. My only worry is that there's going to be, you know, oversaturation of natural history, and that the stories might start getting a bit repetitive, and then everyone's going to decide, okay, we're just going to leave that for a bit. So, you know, that's the trouble with natural history, is trying to find new ways to tell the same stories. And, you know, there's still lots of stuff that hasn't been filmed before. And the recent Perfect Planet, that was really good. There was stuff I thought that's really innovative. The storytelling was great. But if there's so much work and so many channels wanting natural history content, inevitably people are going to switch on the televisions or open up their screens and say, I think I've seen this before.
Yeah.
That's my concern.
I mean, your Animal Family and Me series has been phenomenal, really popular. In our house, we'd like you to do pandas, please. What's next for the Animal Family and Me series? Where are you off to?
Pandas? No, not pandas. No, but they are one of the animals that we really do want to do, but it's kind of logistically it's quite tricky. We've got another one that we're hoping will be commissioned for this year. I don't want to jinx it because it hasn't been fully commissioned yet, but it's something big with whiskers. We were kind of running out of, we've done a lot of those big animals for that sort of strand. So I'd love to be able to film something like, I think Wolverine are super cool animals. And you could, if you had the right access or the right animal character, you could make a really engaging few programs on something small. It doesn't have to be those big predators or big animals. But yeah, I think kind of there's still a couple of big cats that I haven't done. But with the animal family strand, it's all about finding those individuals that you can get close enough to, so that it is a more immersive experience, and it's me being able to follow that same individual over the course of a year. But there's still quite a few animals we can hopefully do it with that are going to engage. I think maybe I might be able to see my career out, and then I'll run out of everything, and then it might be kind of the foxes in my garden. And saying that, I filmed foxes for Springwatch years and years and years ago, and people still to this day, so you're not going to film the foxes again. So it's all about the story.
Well, I have an 8-year-old volunteer if you do pandas.
Can you carry an Amira?
No, she's very good at whining. So if you want one of those, you can have one of those. I think we're going to be wrapping up soon, but I'd like to ask, conservation and preservation of our planet, and we mentioned Perfect Planet a minute ago. I mean, the theme of Perfect Planet was very obvious. We need to do something now. We need to take action. And it feels like, thinking about my children, everyone with younger children, the pressure is very much on the younger generation to try and resolve some of these big issues. When you meet young people and hear from young people, do you feel they're more passionate about conservation and preserving our planet than ever, or do you feel hopeful?
Yeah, I do. I think they are more passionate, more aware, and because of that, I am more hopeful. I was thinking about this recently, sort of growing, I kind of grew up through the sort of 80s, and back then, the sort of, if you were to ask, sort of 13-year-old me or 10-year-old me, what really worries you? It was nuclear apocalypse. That was kind of what the big fear was back through the 70s and 80s. Whereas if you were to ask, most kids, most young adults, teenagers now, what the biggest fear is, it's for the future of the planet. So I feel kind of guilty that we're passing on a whole lot of complex issues, a kind of planet that's quite broken, that's fundamentally broken. But I think it takes a kind of generational shift for people to be really fully aware of what the problems are and what needs to be done. And there's an amazing book actually, it's called Hope in Hell by Jonathan Porritt that I've been reading recently. A lot of the problems that we're facing right now, the solutions exist. So it's not as if we're going to have to wait forever for new technology to be invented to sort some of these problems. It's actually just the will of the people, and for people to wake up and realise that the priority shouldn't be consumerism and capitalism and sort of growth at all costs. And we live, I grew up through the 80s. Growth at all costs was what the planet was about, and now sort of hopefully for young people, it's actually saving the planet. That's what it's all about. And then, you know, the money in your pocket, and you know, your sort of new widescreen TV or your car outside your house, that's kind of pretty irrelevant, you know, in comparison to these bigger issues.
Well, keep doing what you're doing. I know that we love watching what you do, and we love everything the Natural History Unit does as well. It's so important to keep us informed about how the planet's evolving, how animals are doing, surviving, if they're still around. It's really a pleasure to see you on our screens, Gordon, and I really can't thank you enough for being and taking time out today, and we wish you well on your next adventures. What's the boarding pass going to say? Can you even say that?
I think I have a visa at the Rwandan embassy in London at the moment, so I'm touch wood, heading to Rwanda in just a couple of weeks to film what I might not be able to say, but they're big and hairy.
Boris out there. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much again for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please stay safe and well, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Lovely to see
Thank you.
Cheers.
Did that run all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I didn't know whether it would break up. Because when you think of it, it's a video through Zoom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
No, it ran very well.
Was it interesting?
Yeah.
It didn't run too good with me.
Didn't it?
It was, the sound was a little bit breaking up, and
All right.
a little bit jerky, but it was good enough.
Yeah. Well,
You couldn't have used it as a competition film or anything.
no, I hope you didn't mind watching it, but I thought it was quite interesting. I've actually gone twice to see a talk from him, so I think he's really good.
Mm.
You know, he does some really good programs.
Yeah.
Has most people seen the cheetah one episode, or
Yeah.
yeah?
Mm.
I don't know how many people like wildlife, but it's something I enjoy. I thought it was quite interesting talking about equipment, knowing the camera he likes, which is perhaps an older camera, but he knows the controls to it, so it does the job for him. So,
But they certainly carry a lot of weight around with them, don't they?
yeah.
Mm. Mm.
I hope you
Definitely.
didn't mind watching that, but it's a bit long, but I thought it was quite interesting.
Very good.
If anybody,
Colin,
yes.
just while we're watching that, one or two other things are going through my mind. You know, you said, was there any news? Sort of news, really. One of the things that comes to mind is, I don't know if people have been looking around Bournemouth just lately, but it's looking a poorly old town.
Yeah.
The big stores are all shut and locked, and lots of things aren't working, and it's a bit decrepit, really. If anybody was thinking of making a film of before and after, now's the time to go out and film Bournemouth, as we really wouldn't want the visitors to see.
Yeah.
And you know, if it does pick up, let's hope it does. But you could have a nice little transformation film, but it might take a couple of years or a year of project filming to show the changes. But it's definitely at its lowest point at the moment. That's one of the items. The other thing, in the business part of the newspaper today, there was unusually just a photo of a business and a 3-line caption, and that's all it was. There was no article about it, and it was just a picture of the last jigsaw puzzle maker in Britain, which happens to be North Dorset. Anyway, my wife looked up the name on the internet, and she was surprised of all the different puzzle pictures that they do. We've done some of them, but there's some brilliant ones which we haven't done. So she tried to contact them today to place an order, and the line was going mad. When she finally got through, she says, "Is that little photograph in the paper made all that difference?" And they said, "Yeah, the internet's gone balmy today." I don't know if they're all placing orders or just wanting to know more about the company.
So what company name is that then?
I don't, something like JBH or JBG or something like that. anyway, they're not far from Compton Abbas Airfield. I believe they were at Sherborne and they might have moved. But one of the things that cropped up was they said they do factory tours when they're allowed with COVID. And then it crossed my mind as to whether it's worth asking them whether they would be prepared to let some videographers in and film how they make jigsaw puzzles and film the handling and a bit about the business, if it's not too secret.
Yeah.
Might be, yeah, I mean, it might be worth an inquiry to find out if in the future sometime they would be prepared to let a few people in. Yeah, I mean, they might even want to be prepared to let like a party in to look around as part of the tour, but just a selected 2 or 3 to do some filming.
Yeah.
Very good.
And one person could be designated just to let his camera roll and pick up the soundtrack of what they're telling you. So that's a possibility.
Especially for when this COVID's finished.
Yeah, it's not too far to go, and as you say, it's quite unusual to film a jigsaw puzzle maker. but the picture showed him with rolls of like wallpaper rolls of pictures that they feed through the machine and chop up into rectangles and then mount on the cardboard and all the rest of it. So it's colourful and depends on the machinery, but it could be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
On that note, I'm going to say good night, everybody.
Okay, Pam.
Okay. Cheerio, Pam.
See you next time, everybody.
Yeah, take care.
Enjoy the rest of the meeting. Bye.
Bye. Bye. One last thing, Colin. I was contacted by BMW. They send me little BMW news items every so often. And there was, do you remember these people that use flying suits? You know, they got, it's just like a big boiler suit with kind of stubby wings on.
Yeah.
And they jump off mountains and out of planes and they fly, stretch their arms out a bit and they fly at a true speed and whatever. Well, there's one chap, I believe he's Austrian, but I might be wrong. And he wanted to do something different and he tied up with BMW because of their electric cars. And he said, you know, he was really looking for a lightweight battery, which had lots of power in it and decent switching and safety devices, because he'd like to strap a power point on him and some turbofans, which he's now done and developed over a period of a few years. And basically across his chest, he's got this strap. He looks like 2 jet engines side by side, but they run off electric power. And they took him up. He's done about 60 or 70 jumps now, where sometimes there's 3 at a time jump out of a plane. And they have the smoke trails going so you can see where they are. They take them up to about 10,000 feet. And one of his ambitions was to be taken up one side of a mountain chain and actually fly over to the other side, just in this suit, which he did. And they said it's quite unusual to see him like free falling and then start to fly, and then suddenly he starts zooming about and going upwards. But nothing that we could film, but the film that was taken is quite spectacular, I must say. But that's on the BMW website.
I have seen some of the films, you know, some of the films of these flyers, not particularly with engines, but, you know, free fall.
Yeah. So it's
I don't think it's me, but I don't think I'll be doing it. But
no, but there's all these. I mean, when you see him flying, they're going along. I suppose they're doing about over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And they've got to do that coming into land. So you know, you've got to be a bit sort of canny on. You've got to know what you're doing to, and hope you don't meet any turbulence at the last minute. But I just thought that's the next subject for a James Bond film: dress him up on a suit like that and get him to fly over to somewhere. We haven't seen that. Okay, that's me done. So back to the programme.
Yeah, so we were going to, I think we did say about showing some of the Syriac films. Do we want to dip into the library?
Is Dave prepared to do that?
I'll try.
Let's have a go then, Dave.
Because I'm playing with a Mac and I'm playing with this other thing here, and let's see what I can do.
We need to open chat so you can put the links into chat, don't we?
I'll get into YouTube first, don't I?
Yeah.
And where will I go into? Perhaps I'll do the other one. Bloody YouTube. Oh, what's this? Oh. Switch account. Video club. Yeah, plug in your channel. Ooh.
While Dave's doing that, Colin,
Yeah.
just going back to me trying to get my films on, when you go through that little procedure you talked about and you say going to switch and then it'll offer you your own YouTube site or the BVC, how does it know to offer you BVC rather than any of the other video clubs?
I'd made myself a subscriber to the BVC, but I think, Dave, haven't you put everybody into the BVC site?
I think it only says 3 subscribers at the moment.
No, anybody can get into it, I'm sure.
Well, I can get into it, but I'm not a subscriber. I just click the button and it lets me in, and I can see some of the films.
So when I showed you how I did it, Max, can you do that the same thing or not? Yeah.
Well,
it says on mine, Bournemouth Video Club, you're an editor. So I think Dave's put everybody in as editors, haven't you, Dave?
Yeah, I think so.
The last time I looked, it said there was only 3 members. But that was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that makes any difference. I think you can still put stuff on it, can't you?
Well, yeah, I think so, because I mean, I went into it and I've been trying to put something on it, and under the BVC heading, it lets me see my film under that heading. But that's why I was going into BVC before I started the procedure, because I thought, how does it know that I want the choice of switch to BVC and not Wimborne or Maidenhead or East Lothian?
I can't open chat.
Oh.
For some reason.
Do you want me to put them on then, Dave? Or?
Yeah, you put them on.
Any suggestions? Which ones?
I've
got the disc one Goldilocks, disc one Absent Friends.
Well, anyone really. I haven't looked at all of them, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what ones we've seen.
No, I can't remember either.
Before you put one on, Colin, can you just check the length of run, because some of them go on for about quarter of an hour or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Choose 1 or 2 shorter ones.
I've got Goldilocks, which is a 5-minute one by the Canterbury filmmakers. I don't remember seeing that particularly.
Come out of it somehow.
Does anybody can remember would you like to see that anyway?
Okay.
Start with that one.
Got the Zoom, right.
So that's the link. So we've got chat open.
Oh, I've got it open now. I can't. Perhaps because I've got two screens going, I suppose. That's what happened, I think.
Everybody got the link?
Yep.
Yeah. So, so shall I mute you all?
Yes. Yep.
And if you'd like to play that one, right?
Oh, I know what's happened there. I know what's happened there. Fucking YouTube. Oh,
Unmute yourself when you're ready.
that was good. That was. That must be able to do that, mustn't it?
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Jim and Max are still muted at the moment.
That's it. I'm back with you.
It must have taken ages to do that.
Yeah.
Well made.
A lot of work.
Jim's still muted at the moment.
I've managed to get one in the chat box.
Yeah.
The thing being is on Windows 10, it comes up different than what it does on Windows 7.
Okay.
That's the problem I've got. I'm looking for where to put it, and somewhere different.
Is that right, Jim?
Huh?
Did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, it's good. That it's. I'd love to do something like that. It's animation, you know. I assume that there was a team of them, not just that Stigmore bloke.
I don't know. I must admit, there was quite a few credits, wasn't there, at the end?
Yeah. But it was good. It's
But it's having I suppose, the space for the set and thing like that, because you'd have to leave that up for a while, wouldn't you? It must take quite a time to do all that.
Yeah.
Garage or something.
You'd have to make all the stuff, wouldn't you? The bed and the bits and pieces. And
Yeah.
Well, just out of interest, years ago, and there might be on one of the club show reels, past member called Jim, and he made a film. He lived over New Milton Way. He made a film with a little toy dog, and it noticed the French windows were open one day, and he went exploring around the garden. And that was in a similar vein, and it was really quite clever.
yeah, it was. I saw that.
Yeah, he entered it for one of the competitions, I think. Yeah, I'll have a look on the show reels to see if it turns up. But you didn't need any props much on that one, because it's just the house and the dog, and everything was to scale, normal, and it just explored the garden and had a few adventures, and was glad to get back indoors at the end of it.
Yeah, that's one because we've got to get some stuff for Wimborne, haven't we?
That's right.
Yes, I've got to come back to you on that, Dave. I must do that in the next couple of days.
Yeah, I must as well. I thought I'd try that today, but I never got round to it. I'll have a look what I can find.
That's Friday week, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did everybody see the email about that? That we were invited to join the Wimborne Zoom meeting.
That's right. Yep.
That's
is it all right? I say, is it all right if I clog it, but because they don't know me,
No problem.
Yeah, just part of it.
Yeah, just join in.
They're inviting the Bournemouth Video Club to their club. That's what they're doing. So all us members will join their Zoom meeting.
So you're most welcome to come along, join into it.
Yeah, I'll give it a whirl.
Yeah.
But I'll see how I get on. My wife's not very well at the moment, so
Understandable if you can't make it, but if you're free on that evening, join up.
I was looking at what is it, the 19th?
That's right, Friday the 19th.
The week on Friday.
Yeah, but slightly early, 7:30 onwards.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll give it a whirl.
And did you all see? We also have set some more competition dates as well.
What is it on the website?
I don't know if you've got. Can you get on the website now, Dave? Because you could. Sorry?
Done it on, put it all on the website. Is that? Have you had a look, Max?
I haven't looked today. No, I was looking about 2 days ago, I think, the last time I looked.
Done it. Yeah, if there's any problems with it, give us a ring. Let us know.
Okay,
I think I've got it all right.
good. Yeah.
Try and look at my list of 3 dates, but we're going to do a sound music to my video competition and a short film, 1 minute film or 60-second film competition.
Yeah. I believe the competition is, what's the film? 6 minutes maximum, is it?
Yeah.
No,
The
yeah.
music to my video is, yes.
Yeah, that's why I'll put them on there, 6 minutes.
And we want at least 2 tracks. 2 music tracks on that. So that's just judged on the music quality, the music content, not the actual film content.
Yeah, the suitability and the way the one theme blends into another. Yeah.
I was just trying to find my list of dates. If not, I'll have to go onto the email, but it did list them on the email I sent out anyway, just as a advance notice. That was the idea.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll remind people when we get closer, but just trying to give people advance notice to get preparation, really.
Yeah. For Bill's attention there, it's the rules are slightly different to the Wimborne rules. So we want more than one piece of music. We'd like to see it blended in. I can't remember whether we said we used to have the ambient sound off the camera, but no narration.
We said no
ambient sound this time.
No
okay.
Sound.
Yeah.
That was the other thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
At the Wimborne meeting last week, they had Sutton Coldfield. They invited Sutton Coldfield, and they showed their films. Well, they don't have competitions. They have like sort of projects. Someone suggests something, they've got to make a film with like a teacup in it. And that's how they do it. They don't actually have a competition, but they all have to try and make one with something in it, like a teacup or knife and fork or.
So
yeah.
They show them all. Do they? They give them the date to prepare them by, do they?
Oh yeah, they do them all as a competition, but not a competition as such. So if you make one that's not very good, you can still like put it in.
They call it more of a challenge than a competition.
Yeah, more like entertainment value rather than technical wizardry and competence, perhaps.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was a better idea, really, because so many people in the Wimborne Club have entered a competition and the judge has been so rude about it, they've never gone again.
That's wrong, isn't it, really?
It's always
to me, there's no reason for people to be rude about somebody's film. It's it's good to have a critique of it, but not to be people to be rude over it.
No.
Perhaps we should change it from to a challenge rather than a competition, because I like to feel whatever level people are, they should still be able to enter. Well, still be able to show their films.
Yeah.
So perhaps a challenge will.
Perhaps we ought to change our competition to a challenge.
Well, was one of the other things, Colin, was didn't we hear that the Wimborne were suggesting that 1 member a week shows a film? Not under competition standard, but they just enter a film.
Yeah.
They said 1 member a week can take up to an hour and talk about what he likes.
Oh, that's different. I didn't notice that.
I would like to feel that we can do that as well. We would do that if somebody wants to do to to take a part of the. It's like I've shown that that email I had. I don't, you know, if anybody else has got anything that they feel they'd like to share, I'm quite happy for it.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, anything, well, anything really, isn't it? Anything to make it life interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I saw that email and I read it and about the production show, and I thought, well, yes, I do like Gordon Buchanan's style of that, and I particularly wanted to watch that. So I did watch that earlier today. It only came I think the email only came today. I haven't watched all the other ones, but I'm sure, you know, I'm sure some of those are interesting as well.
I'd like to see the one about Come Dance in the background.
Would you like me to forward that email on to you?
Yes, yes.
But then you can obviously go into their link, and would everybody like that?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you can obviously look at them yourselves then.
Yeah.
The program, but my wife does. So.
Because you know, it's obviously they're all to do with television production and things like that. That's what the show's for. It's obviously, as I say, it's not. I don't think the shows are really for the general public, but you know, because I was part of the university at one stage, although I wasn't really into video production, I suppose I managed to get my name into their books, and that's why they've kind of sent me the email packet. So I thought it was quite interesting, but so I know, because I know that wasn't what we said originally, but that email came in today, and I thought that was quite nice to share that.
Yeah.
But I will forward on the email so that you can all use the link to look at any of the other ones you want to.
Good.
Shall we look at another one of these?
I've put one in the chat box.
Yeah. Do you want to go on the second one, the one that Dave's?
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I just picked one as an exercise. Right, are we all ready?
So I'm going to mute you all again, and unmute yourself when you're finished, all right?
Okay, here we go.
Can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, that come over all right.
Yeah, could you hear it all right?
Yeah.
Well, I do have a problem with sound levels, but I got it all turned up. The picture quality was good,
All right, good.
and the sound was livable. But it would be nice if it was a bit louder. But that's only my equipment, I think.
Right.
Bill's still muted at the moment. Is Bill still watching?
Do you know which club made that film?
It did say, didn't it?
Does sound the bottom, doesn't it? I'll find it again. Where would it be? Where would it be?
Are you still watching, Bill?
I think it was Bristol way, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you want to unmute yourself?
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether you're still watching or not.
No, I have finished. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you found it, Dave?
Well, I found it. I can't find out who did it.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's just interesting.
Was it Bristol way?
I'll get to the end of it and tell you then, won't it?
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave. Stop looking. I'll go up and I'll find the original disc. It might tell me on there. You carry on chatting.
Alderney Church. Alderney Church. Come on, come on. Oh, got the music and everything else. There we go. It's written by Paul Warwick. Oh, it doesn't say. After all that.
Let me have a go.
Just wait for Max to come back, and that was quite an interesting one. But
Yeah.
well made, I thought.
Yes, it was like a proper film, wasn't it? If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Mm.
A lot of actors in it. But that is the problem, isn't it? Getting everybody together to do it at a certain time.
Yeah. Mm.
It looked as though they'd approached a Christian group that met anyway.
Yes, I think so. Unless they
were sort of thanked at the end.
They might have been a part of it, mightn't they?
Yeah.
Do you know which disc it was on, Dave?
Isn't it?
What was it called again? Oh, Medicated Love, right.
On disc 1, I think, or disc.
Yeah, disc 1. Yeah, it don't say. It says Paul Warwick. That was all.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I never. Yeah, I thought there was a bigger list than that.
A Diamond Production.
I thought as the film was playing, I thought I saw Bristol come up, but I might be wrong.
Well, it says makers of the film thank the leadership of Christchurch Annerley.
Adderley?
Annerley. Anerley.
Annerley. Really?
No. I'm reading what it says at the end.
How do you spell it?
A-N-E-R-L. Right, just a minute. Get there again. Oh, hold on. Come on.
Annerley, I think it's London, isn't it?
Nerley.
Yeah, South East London,
Oh, right.
within the borough of Bromley. Yeah, borough of Bromley.
Oh, here we are.
I thought it must be somewhere where it's got quite large flats.
Yes. Yeah, this Windows 10 is it's got it all, it does it all, but it's all slightly different.
Yeah.
So there we are. I'm looking around to trying to find things.
So I put another film in the chat, which is another 10-minute one. So that would see us out, wouldn't it? Probably. Yeah. So would you like to have a look at that one?
Just a question: our meetings, do they finish at 9:30 or 10?
Well, we finish whenever. Well, I time them to 10 o'clock, but
okay,
it doesn't seem to matter.
No, it's just that when I put it on the website, I'll still put in 9:30, so I shall change that.
When I actually book the Zoom meeting, I say 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, but we've gone over 10 o'clock before, and they've never cut us off. So I think it,
Well, I'll change it all to 10 o'clock and make it right then, won't it?
Yeah, that's right.
You say people can leave, like Pam, people can leave beforehand if they want to, if they've got other things. But I think it's nice to go to 10 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah. Just I put 9:30 like we did before, and I hadn't changed it, so I will change that.
Yeah.
Right, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
Happy to see the last one then, and I'll mute you again.
Which one is it? Just a minute.
It's got should be me to everyone at 9:17.
All right, that's it. Yeah, okay.
Got that one, Jim?
Yeah.
Right. That was a good film.
Very good.
Very good. What a lovely thing to be able to do that. That's
Yeah. Mm.
yeah, very interesting that, and filmed well, wasn't it?
Mm.
Filmed very good.
So I presume that was Brighton pair. Right.
Worthing, wasn't it?
Was it Worthing?
I don't know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I know it was South Downs, wasn't it? South Downs Video
Right.
Group or whatever.
I'll go down there when we can move about and have a look.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, it's been a very interesting evening, Colin.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jim's still muted at the moment, so I don't know if he's still watching. No.
Oh, yeah.
You enjoy that, Jim?
Oh, that was brilliant, that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, that's the films I like.
Yeah.
I'm not
You learn
a
from it.
competitive.
You learn from it as well as being entertained, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
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 I've got a copy of one that was made. I used to belong to the Eastbourne Club, and there's two of the chaps there made an hour-long film of the diary of a chrysanthemum grower, and it's right from December till January to December. And
Yeah.
how they grow these chrysanthemums, and so it's a brilliant film. It is. These two guys did it. It wasn't a club film. It was just a couple of blokes did it privately.
It's getting the ideas, isn't it? It's getting the ideas.
Yes. Yeah.
So you could do that, almost do that like the puzzle maker.
Yeah. I mean, there's enough bright colours. I only worry that whether there's enough movement. It depends on the machinery and what they do.
Yeah.
There's enough bright colours to liven up the screen, the pictures to see.
What, do they do commissions?
I don't know. I mean, but they might just like a video as a recollection of what they do for the future. Yeah, you know, a little flash of instant in time as to how the business was running.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make some inquiries. There's no rush, but I'll make some inquiries in the near future.
We wouldn't be able to visit them till I presume June anyway.
That's right. It's going to be midsummer onwards. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, gents, I'm going to have to leave you. I've got an early get up in the morning.
Okay, Jim. All right.
Oh, yeah, thanks very much. Lovely evening.
Cheers,
thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Cheerio all. I'll leave you as well. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know if you, Bill, I don't know if you remember Kevin Farwell from the Cine Club D.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
He made a cine film on the Mary Ford cake people, and when they made one of the cakes for Princess Di's wedding.
Ah, he lived at Salisbury or somewhere like that.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. I'm still friends with him.
All right.
And he's got that. That was on Super 8, but he's actually got it transferred onto video, and I've got a copy of it, I think. But that was he also did a documentary on a fossil guy over at Lyme Regis, I think, or no, Kimmeridge.
Kimmeridge, yeah.
Yeah, he made some nice films at the time. Unfortunately, he went on to cruise ships, as you probably know. Remember? Or,
yeah.
He's now come off them now, but and he's kind of lost interest, unfortunately, with the video.
All right. I seem to remember he made one about dogs and sleds.
I don't remember that one. He made the Kitty J. Can you remember that one or not?
What was that, Colin?
He made a film called Kitty J.
No, I don't remember that one.
That was a drama based on a Victorian girl in Devon. Devon. But that won the IAC filmmaker, one of the top awards, 10 best.
All right.
10 best. And won the Kodak Awards at the 10 best one year. And he was he had to go up into the theatre up in London, and was presented the award by Gordon Jackson.
Yeah.
And we all went up then. That was in the 80s anyway. But
right.
He's quite a prolific filmmaker at those days anyway.
Yeah. I mean, when we were in Bournemouth, we used to visit Swindon Film Unit quite a bit.
Right, yeah.
And the Ordnance Survey in Southampton.
That's right, yeah, yeah.
Was another one. And Weymouth.
Weymouth for the Penny Cup.
Yeah, Penny Cup, yeah.
Mm.
Well, I'm going to have to leave you gentlemen this evening, so...
All right. Well,
yeah, I'm going to have to go. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you.
And Dave.
Well, I think it's been nice to have a chat tonight, isn't it? And seen a few films, nice films.
See something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Okay, I'll see you in a fortnight's time. All right.
Yeah, bye.
Bye then, Bill.